Welcome to Deb Talk with your host, Deb Darling. On this pod, I'll be asking the hard questions that life throws our way. What some are scared to talk about and others wish they did. Sex, cultura, kids being assholes, overeating, butt sex, shitty jobs, and so much more. I'm on this journey of getting to know myself and others. So come join me! Welcome to Deb Talk with your girl, Deb Darling, and I am here with my guest, Amaris. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I'm so excited too. Thank you so much for coming on and believing in me and being able to interview you and just coming on. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have you.
Definitely. I am so excited. You have no idea. And I was just like, yes, I'm in. Let's do this. All for it.
Yes. So please tell everybody about you. Tell them about your podcast. Tell them where they can find you. All of that good stuff.
Awesome. So my name is Amaris. I am 28. I'm out of Chicago, so Midwest area. I do have a podcast. I'm a co-host on the Thinking Thick podcast. So we've been doing it for almost 1 year. We started like last August, I think was our first episode. And the basis of it is like, we talk about a lot of different topics, but through like the point of view of plus size millennials of color. Ooh. And just kind of the way we see things. So we've done episodes on dating, of course, because it's one of my favorite topics ever. And then we've done about like, one of my favorites was like, why can't I have both? Which also ties into dating. So like idea that like plus size women need to settle, and like this concept that like we don't deserve to have like our quote unquote dream guy. So that's the podcast. I co-host it with one of my best friends, Lola. And I am also a freelance writer / reporter. So right now I'm covering a lot of city council meetings and like small community news, but it's still super awesome. And like a lot of other creatives, I have a day job. So my day job is managing a trampoline park.
A trampoline park?
That's my day job. That
sounds like so much fun.
It definitely can be. It's such an interesting environment because I've actually been doing it for a while. I started off at like a different trampoline park when I was 19, worked my way up, left for a little bit, and then I had this opportunity. And so now I manage another trampoline park, and it's super interesting because I'm the oldest person that works there. Everyone else is like teenager, like 16, it's their first job. So I get a lot of like, I was super like thrown off with like the slang and everything. So it's definitely, and not every day is the same. Like so many crazy things can happen in customer service. I'm sure people know. So yeah, it's a good job. I like it.
Nice. And how long have you been there? Like
I have been there for almost 2 years.
Nice. And yeah. What does the future hold for you? Like, do you want to stay? I doubt you want to stay there forever. I know you want, like, if you're a creative and you're a writer, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would love that to be my future. Like, that is, like my end goal is like in a perfect world, like a perfect Amaris world, I would be able to freelance all my writing and just be able to travel. Nice. Like, like that idea of like a nomad with like their laptop and they're just like driving around, or like van life through the US, like all that stuff like seems like super appealing to me. And I definitely want the writing and the journalism, ideally like journalism would turn into my day job, and then my writing would be like what I would freelance.
Okay. Well, that sounds, stay hopeful, because whenever you do. How has, like, with the COVID and everything, how has it affected your job? Because everything is closed. Is over there just like, is everything closed over there as well?
Yeah, we're closed. So we closed down on like March 17th. So since then, I've been the only one like that's been working, and it's all through email, just making sure because it's a trampoline park. So a lot of our business was birthday parties. So people had reservations. It's been just doing that, like making sure, like our services are still on, stuff like that. So we're just kind of waiting to reopen, and I'm excited to reopen. Like I didn't realize how much I genuinely love my staff and like how close you get to them until like I'm going into the facility to do emails and like it's empty. And I was like, this is the worst feeling ever. Like I don't like it. It's too quiet in here.
Well, that's nice though that you still have work, because like there's people out there that can't work at all. So that's good. So the worst thing is that you miss your staff, but the best thing is that you're making money. So
Yeah, that's true. And it's something that like I'm very, very grateful that I had like good bosses that were like at least considerate to, like what was going on. And that was like one of the biggest things when we had that conversation, when I had that conversation with my boss, she's like, I understand everyone has bills. So I'm definitely super, super thankful. And it's one of the things that would make leaving that job so hard. It's just like when you have good bosses and you have people that are like so understanding, but then you also have to kind of take a step back. And at least for me, it's like, I love it and it's great, but like, I need to make sure I'm able to do like what I want to do. Like eventually that's writing. So.
yeah. Good. Well, I wish you the best in whichever direction you go. I will support either way. So you go, girl.
Thanks.
All right. So let's start with our first segment. And that's this week's weekly inquiry. And that's, how has it been dating as a plus size woman?
Girl.
Would you like me to start, or you can start? No, actually you can start, and then okay. I will piggyback off of you.
Sure. So for me, it's been like a crazy ride. So I did not date until I was probably like 22, 23. Like that's when I started dating. I was definitely like a super late bloomer when it came to that. And I think a big part of it was because I've always been bigger. So ever since I was like a child, like I've always been like the bigger one, the taller one. I'm also like super, like not super, super tall, but like I'm like 5'10", 5'11". Oh, wow. So like when I was growing up, all the girls were like relatively shorter, and then like you would see me like stick out. So like I was bigger, I was taller, and that definitely played a lot into my insecurities around boys. Like I remember in 7th grade, someone told me that the boy I had a crush on me, and like I didn't believe it. Like I was like, they're making fun of me. This is like a joke, and I think that mindset stayed with me for a very long time until I was like 21, 22, and then I was like, okay, like I could. That's when dating apps started being a thing, and it was back then, the only ones that were really out were like OkCupid and Plenty of Fish. I don't know if you're like familiar with them.
Yeah, Plenty of Fish. I definitely have been on my fair share of it. I never had any luck on there, but yeah, I was on there.
Okay. But so one of my friends was online dating, and she's like, you should try it. And I was like, okay, like I'll do it. So that's when I like started dating. So like my first steps into dating was online dating. And I don't know how I feel about that, but like it is what it is.
How was it like? So you've met with people from online?
Yeah. So I think it was really hard for me to meet people in person because at that time I was still working through like having the confidence. And I think that goes a long way because now from how I was back then, I'm like confidence wise, I'm so different. And when I look back on how I was and like I assess these situations I was put in, I was like, Amaris, you're so stupid. Like this guy totally liked you. Like this guy was like flirting with you, but like you were so in your head, you were so insecure that like you didn't see it. And I think online dating for me kind of helped me feel like at least I was talking to them first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able to like meet in person. And obviously, like, I would make sure that my pictures were like honest. Like, that's one of my biggest fears when it comes to online dating is someone thinking that I don't look like my pictures.
Mm-hmm. That's literally me. I've never met with anyone from online because I take pictures very well. Like, my face doesn't gain a lot of weight, but my body gains a lot of weight. But like the way I take pictures, like anyone, like you have your angles and you like, and all that. So it's like, so I've never been able to take pictures that like reflect and feel okay with it and reflect my body size. So I remember one time I met with one guy and he was like, "Oh, wow, you're much chubbier in person than I thought." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Is that a problem?" And he was like, "No, you're still beautiful." And I was like, "Thanks, I know." I was like, "I'm chubby, I'm not ugly." And then we ended up having sex and we started hooking up from then on, like forever. Not forever, it was like for months. But after that, I was like, I'm never meeting up with absolutely anyone. And then I like made a Tinder a couple of years ago, and I was in my Tinder profile was, I take pictures very well. I'm fat in real life. I take pictures very well. So if you're looking for a small, skinny girl, this isn't it. And like, I remember showing that to my friends and they're like, do guys still hit you up? I'm like, yeah, but like, I'm still not going to meet with them because they probably think I'm lying or they probably think I'm kidding because the pictures don't reflect what my body looks like. So I'm not going to meet with them and then them see me and make me feel like shit because I'm fat.
Yeah, I like, okay, the fact that that person said that to you, I was like,
Mhm.
like, you don't say that. And then
Mhm.
also, like, I love what you said when you were like, I never said I was ugly. Like, for me, that's one of like my biggest pet peeves when you're like, oh, like, I'm so, like, I feel so fat. Cause like, I have those moments where I'm like, oh, I feel so fat. And then like, you have a friend be like, no, you're
I
beautiful. And I'm
hate
like,
that.
bitch, I never said I was ugly. I
Right?
said I was feeling a little fat.
Mhm.
Like that idea that, you know, to be beautiful, you have to be skinny. And
Mhm.
it like it's so subconsciously like tied together where people think they're building you up, but they're like, no, you're beautiful.
It's like a backwards compliment. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't realize that even though you're complimenting me, it's still kind of rude in a way. It's like
100%.
I don't take it as a compliment. I don't take it nicely. It's weird because like every time the same thing. I say that, I've always said that. Like, yep, I know I am, but I still have a gut and I still have back fat and that my arms are still jiggly and that still bothers me. My face
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. My arms bother me. And
Yeah.
then they
And that's
just look at me
okay.
all awkward and uncomfortable. And I'm like, sorry, but it's true. And I've had to like read people and tell them, like, with me, it doesn't matter, but with other people, just out of respect, you don't tell them, not even out of respect. I don't even know what the word I'm trying to use, but you shouldn't tell, like, we know, because beauty isn't how much you weigh or what color you are or how long your hair is. Or I remember when I cut my hair, I used to have really long curly hair and it was like usually in a fro. And when I cut it, people were like, "Oh, well, you still look beautiful." I was like, "I know, because my hair didn't define me.
Yeah.
My face defined me. I mean, my personality defines me.
Yeah.
Like my face is a plus, but my hair is just there. It's just an accessory."
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that for me, that was like going back to the confidence part, like once I started to build up that confidence, like that's when I like felt better about myself. And it wasn't necessarily like I look about the same I did when I was in high school, but like I feel like my personality would make me like 10 times more attractive. And like I think back to it and I was just like, damn, like I wish I was like this when I was in high school because like everyone would have been after me. I don't care. I'm saying it.
Good. Yeah, no, it's so true. Um, I I was, I don't want to say I was blessed. I wasn't blessed at all. I had a lot of guys that would hit on me, but they would hit on me on the low because they didn't want people to know, oh, I like the chubby girl, because I've
Yeah.
always been short and chubby. I wasn't like in high school I wasn't fat, but I was chubby. I had curves. No, I wasn't even. I had curves. While all my other friends were just skinny and like they were curvy, but they were just skinny curvy, and while I was chubby curvy. So guys would hit on me, but then they didn't want anybody to know. And like they would be like, oh, don't tell anybody. And I at the moment, like back then, I talked about this in another episode. I used to give myself to people more so because I went through sexual trauma, and it just kind of fucked me up, where I felt like my body wasn't worth anything, I wasn't worth anything, so I was just giving myself to these guys that were giving me attention just because they were giving me attention. And I didn't really realize, like, they don't deserve me. They're trying to keep me a secret. And all throughout high school, I would find these guys that were attractive, and they found me attractive, but did not want anything but my sex from me. And then another thing, have you ever experienced a guy say to you, you're the first chubby girl or fat girl I've ever been with?
No.
I have. So, and it is really annoying. I've had that like 3 times in my life. And I was like, well, that's cool. I hope I rocked your world. And then each time, yeah. And each time they're like, you were amazing. But then I'll never fuck with them again. Because it's like, you were kind of weird like that. You shouldn't have said that. If you would have said nothing, I would have been okay with that too.
Yeah, no, I never had someone say that to me, but I did have someone. I was on, I think it was Tinder, a couple of years ago, and we knew each other. Like we went to high school together. So like this was already when I was like probably like 24, 25, and I like curiosity. Like I was curious to see if he like swiped right on me, so I swiped right on him, and we did. We matched, and he like messaged me, and we started talking. And at first, it was just kind of like, oh, like funny, like running into you here because we knew each other from high school. I've actually known him since like elementary school, and it like we started talking a little bit, and he was just like, hey, like he's like, I had a crush on you in high school, and I was like, that's a load of bullshit. He's like, no, I did. Like, I had a crush on you in high school, but he's like, I was a jackass. And like, he's like, I bought into like the whole, like, no, like, you shouldn't like the chubby girl, like stuff like that. And he's like, but like, I always thought you were pretty. Like, I always thought you were cool. And he like asked me out. And I said no because he was like, would it be weird like if we got drinks together? And I was like, yeah, it would be kind of weird. And like, I kind of kicked myself for that now. I was like, I should have gone. Like, I should have gone on this date and like seen it. But like, just hearing him say that and like admitting to the fact that like he liked me in high school, but there's like this stereotype that like if you like a girl that is chubby, like there's got to be something wrong with you. And I think guys, especially younger guys, play into that so much because all throughout high school and even like early 20s, like if my guy friends got a girlfriend or like if I was hanging out with like some guys and they start talking about a girl, the first thing that would be like, oh, is she hot? Is she hot? It's like this idea that your partner has to look a certain type of way for your friends to be like, oh, like look what he got. So it's like it's this weird thing that's just like I feel like sometimes guys aren't super open about what they actually like because they're scared that their friends are going to judge them. And the older I get, like it actually makes me feel better because I feel guys, the older they get, they kind of stop dropping the act. So I'm like, okay, I'm into it. Like this could work out now, but
yeah, no, I agree. I've I've come across a few people I went to high school with that were complete assholes, and I'm like, they'll try to talk to me, they'll message me on Instagram, and I'm like, dude, you see a high number on my following list, now you're all of a sudden on my ass when you used to literally talk so much shit about me and be so rude to me and like call me names because I was the chubby one. It didn't help that I was a bitch in high school too, but I was a bitch because I just everything. And it was just crazy. What is the worst thing someone has said to you or made you feel while either in high school or after about your weight or yeah?
I think for me, it was the idea that, and it's something I'm still working through, like the idea that someone is going to pick someone else because they're skinnier. And I've had guys like, and if we were never dating, it was never a thing. But like once I had like a guy that I liked, we would flirt back and forth all the time. It was like very innocent flirting, but like I had him one time be like, "Oh, you would be perfect if you were smaller." And for me, it was like it made me think back to like all the times when I was growing up when people would like be like, it doesn't matter like how creative a personality you have, like someone's still gonna pick like your skinnier friend over you. And I think that a lot of girls feel that growing up, especially if you're like quote unquote like the fat one of the group. Like you always feel like guys are after your friends. You always feel like, and when I started going out to bars, that was one of the biggest insecurities. It's like I see you go hit on my friend, you strike out with her, and now you want to come talk to me? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to like entertain that because you weren't able to get with her and now you're looking at me as like like a consolidation prize. No, thank you. And I remember one time this guy was hitting on my friend and she turned him down and she was like, "Oh, like you should go talk to him, you should go talk to him." And I'm like, "No, I'm good, thank you." And it was just, it kept going and I got so mad. I'm like, what the fuck would make you think I want something that you don't want? Like, why is it that because you don't want it, it gets like slide over to me? And I think that that was one of the hardest things, especially once you start going to clubs, going to bars, like all your friends out there dancing and like no one's really talking to you because you're like the chubby girl, like the fat girl. I don't know, like what adjective you use, because I think that that's also a conversation. Like I tend to not like the word fat because it just reminds me of all the times I was bullied. But like I'm the first one to be like, I'm chubby, like I'm bigger, like you know what I mean?
I refer to myself as fat and I refer to other people as chubby.
Okay.
And it's funny because my daughter's father, he's always like, you call yourself that, but then other people you just don't. And I'm like, because I don't. I don't know. He's like, you need to be nicer to yourself. And I always hear that. You need to be nicer to yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I just can't. For some reason, that word is the word that stands out for me when I feel like I want to when I'm describing myself because that's how I feel. I feel fat. I don't feel chubby. I've felt chubby in the past. So knowing what I felt before and then what I feel now I don't let the word define me for sure. I'm like, that's me, but that's me. That's just another adjective to describe me. It's not, I don't feel any crazy sort of way unless it's somebody else calling me that. Then of course I'm like, ooh. And it's funny. I've had the worst thing. It wasn't even the worst. It was one bad thing that happened. I was at the train station one time, and this guy was like, "Hey," trying to talk to me. And I had my headphones on. I was like, "Hello." He's like, "Hey, beautiful," this and this, and I was like, "Hi." Have a good day. And I still had I put my headphone back on. He's like, well, fuck you, like in front of all these people at this train station. Fuck you, you fat bitch. And then he starts going off on me that I'm a fat hoe. And he just went in on me. And then I could hear him. So I took my headphone off and I was like, damn, I'm by myself. So like, I don't want to do anything. Cause what if he's crazy? He must be crazy to be talking to me like this, like in public. I don't know. So I just turned around. I was like, are you okay? I was like, are your feelings that hurt that a fat girl won't talk to you? I was like, sir, you are a grown ass man. I must have been like 21, 22 when this happened. I'm 28 now. And I was like, you're a grown ass man. He must have been like in his late 30s or something. And he was just like, fuck you. And I was like, you are so upset right now. I was like, damn. I was like, I wouldn't talk to you even if I was skinny, chubby, any type of anything else. You're hideous. Goodbye. And if he would have came at me a little bit differently, maybe I would have entertained the conversation, just being polite. But like the fact that the way he was talking to me from the beginning, it was just weird. So that was I was like, damn, like, do other people see me the way that this man sees me? But that was the only man that's ever like done that specifically.
Yeah, I think that like it's so common for like Because I've had that happen too, like definitely not like as publicly as that, and that like that's horrible. Like I say, I have no idea how I would have responded, but like it happens all the time where it's like someone tries to hit on you and you don't like. I think this also goes along with the concept that people think that like just because you're bigger, like you're gonna accept any sort of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, like if I don't like you or how you said, like if you're approaching me a certain type of way, like it doesn't matter if I'm skinny, if I'm fat, like I still don't wanna like entertain that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like that's happened or like I'm not really into it or like I just say hey and like ignore it. We're like, oh, you're fat and ugly anyways. It's like your ass just tried to talk to me. So clearly 2 seconds ago, before I bruised your ego, you didn't think I was fat and you didn't think I was
Mm-hmm. And that goes into what you were saying about settling. Have you ever felt like you needed to settle because you were the big one? I'm doing quotations, everyone, because you felt like you're like the big one. Did you feel like you had to settle for anyone at any point?
Yeah, I totally did. And it was, I think that for a while I have thought that, but I think that as I've kind of gotten older, it's it's become more of like personality and not so much looks because I have a very specific type. And like the more I kind of go on dates and the more I talk to people, like even today I was telling my sister, I'm like, oh, like I have a really set type. She's like, yeah, that's why everyone that you date kind of looks alike. But so my type is like tall, just because I'm tall. So like tall, bearded, and chubby. Like that's what I like. That's what like I'm attracted to. So I think that sometimes people would interpret that as me settling because I like a bigger guy. And one of my last serious relationship, my ex, like even my parents asked me like, are you like, do you think that you're settling because he is a bigger guy? And I was just like, no, like it doesn't bother me. It's like I like a bigger guy. So, and I think that when I was younger, I wouldn't really accept that about myself. Kind of like the opposite, right? Like we talked about how guys don't accept it, but like I thought that for me, like I was like, I don't want to be with like a chubby guy because then people are going to be like, there's the fat couple.
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense. And then once I started dating, and even in high school though, like high school was more so like the football like linebacker type that I had a crush on. But once I actually started talking to guys and like started dating, I was like, oh, I have a type. My type is tall, bearded, and chubby, and like that's okay. And for me, that's not settling. Like now, as I've gotten older, like the idea of settling is more in terms of like how they are as a person. Like I have like qualities that I want in my future partner as a person, and their looks are like second to that now.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I have a type, kind of. I don't have a specific type with looks. I know what I don't like, which is, and it's really, I'm so sorry, Mom, but, and I say this all the time, I don't like Hispanic men. I'm just
Okay.
not really into, and it's like a lot of them, like all of them. I have crushes, like, have you seen Good Girls?
Yes, the drug dealer, like the main guy,
Manny.
so cute.
He's so beautiful and like
Okay.
he's everything. He has such a nice smile and his voice drives me crazy. And it's more so his voice and his smile. But like if I could put that on a chocolate man, I would eat him the fuck up. So to me, I like brown skin. I like black men
Okay.
through and through.
I
But it's also definitely, like you said, personality. Like you have to make me laugh. Like you can look anyway. You can be ugly or like ugly to somebody else. But to me, you are not. You are beautiful because you're funny. You can make me laugh. You can make me feel good about myself if you're supportive. Like all these different qualities that I look for. And then the looks are just like a plus, but I know what I don't like. And I know what I don't even not I don't necessarily don't give a chance to, but what I will not talk to, like I'm so sorry other people that are listening. I'm not racist. I have to say this all the time. I am not racist. I also do not like white men. Like
Okay.
I'm just not into white men. I don't know why. There's of course white men that I find cute. I'll be like, oh, he's cute, but like I can't. There's something about a chocolate man that I'll see them and I'm just like melting in my seat.
That is so funny. So I am like, I think as I got older, I'm definitely like more, and like the more I date, like the more kind of like I date outside of what I usually like because it's usually white guys. Like tall, bearded, chubby, white. If they've got the gauges and the tattoos, like I'm all in. But like I've gone on dates with like Hispanics and it's fine. I just think that like sometimes for me, I need someone that's like, I want to have things in common with them. And it's hard for me to have a lot of things in common with a lot of Hispanics or like a lot of African Americans in like my area because I grew up like in a middle class white suburb. Most of my friends are white. I listen to country music. I like love going to country concerts, like all that stuff. Like, and then there's also like the part of me that like grew up on like alternative punk music. So for me, it's like if I could find, and I said it before to like my friend in like the podcast, I'm like, any race. That's fine. Like, give me a Mexican, give me like a black guy, but like, I just want him to be into like the same stuff I am. And for the most part, that tends to be white guys. So like that's just kind of like when I see tall, bearded, chubby, white, I'm like my eyes just like pop. I'm like, ooh, zooming in. I'm zooming in right now. But I like love the idea of having like a little brown baby. So like I'm like I would totally date a Hispanic. Like where's like a really attractive like black guy so we make like this really cute minority baby. Like I'm so open to it.
Yeah, I can't like how you relate with white guys. I know it's like more than I don't know, it's like all the stuff you're into, but for me, it's like I cannot fathom being with a privileged white man.
Okay.
And I say that because it's like my family, they're immigrants, and I don't know, something about it. And then it's funny because I've had this conversation with my daughter's father. Um, he's like, well, we also don't have that much in common when it comes to like, and I'm like, well, yeah, because your parents are immigrants and they came here from Barbados and they are not from here. So he's like, yeah, but I didn't like struggle or anything like that. And Papa was like, you have your own struggle. You're a minority because you're black. And that is its own struggle in itself. And I can't picture myself with the because he prior to me, he's dated, but his serious relationships have always been with white women. And I was his first Hispanic girlfriend. And I was like, listen, I'm not like them. And it was a very different dynamic when he got with me than when he was with them. But he's always tried to like not convince me, but like always question why it is that I feel the way I feel about dating white men. And I'm like, I just can't picture having to explain to a white guy like why I do certain things and why I am a certain way and why I listen to music on blast on Sundays while I'm cleaning and why I like I don't know just like 100 why am I so loud, why am I like so many different things. I think the closest to a white person that I'd be able to date would be Italian, and that's because there's so much culture in the Italian culture and there's so much like I don't know, it sounds so bad to say, but like life and like in that culture.
Yeah.
So that's probably the closest to white that I'd ever go. But and then I don't know, and then black guys or the I don't want to say black culture, but depending on the race or like the nationality or whatever, African American, he's told me, but you have not much in common with African Americans. And I'm like, you're right, but like there is a struggle within that too because that's still a minority. No matter what, if they're not white, they have some type of relation with me, which is having to struggle in some type of way, whether it just be walking down the street, because me as a Spanish woman walking down the street, like I've had people stare at me in my neighborhood. I've had people look at me crazy or make me feel like I'm stealing or whatever. And I know that as a black man walking down the street, you may feel uncomfortable. you may not be safe. There's things that we have in common. It might not be all the same, but there are things that when I think of a white man can walk down the street and absolutely nothing. Nobody will think a single thing of it. Whether he's tall, bearded, engaged, people are just gonna be like, oh, he's cool, but he's white, so people don't care. So my whole thing always comes back down. Again, I'm not racist, everyone. But yeah. So, and then other races, I also am open to other races. Like, I mean, I've only had like 3 really serious relationships in my life. And other than that, I've just had a lot of sex because I was a little thoughty McThought back in the day. So I've had sex with a lot of different races, and like I didn't discriminate. I've never had sex with a white man, but like with a ton of other or I don't want to say Asian, like Chinese or Japanese or Vietnamese or any of those. But I've had sex with like in 2 Indian men. Good. But yeah, I did do a thumbs up. Yeah, just so you guys know, it was good. And then yeah, I talk about sex a lot, so just to give you a heads up, I should have probably told you before. But yeah, so when was the last time you were in a relationship, and how long was it?
So my last relationship was also my first relationship. So, because I told you I started dating, like hit the dating scene when I was like 21, 22. I met my ex on a dating app. We met off of OkCupid, and we dated for almost 3 years, and we got engaged, and then we broke up. So we broke up last April. So I've been single for like a year and a month.
A year and a month. How has that year and a month been?
It's been crazy. It's been so crazy. And like, there's definitely moments where like it's good and it's bad, right? Because I was in a relationship for such a long time. And it also didn't help that like it was a very serious relationship. Like when you get to the point of like being engaged to someone, like it takes it for, like for me personally, it takes it to like the next level. So we broke up and I immediately started seeing someone else, and I like caught feelings super fast, and we were seeing each other for like 3 months, and then he ended it. And then I was like broken. Like I was devastated for like from June till September. And like I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to date. And I think also part of that was I was, it was like 2 breakups back to back kind of quickly. And thinking back on it, like I wish I would have given myself like a little bit more like cushion space in between when I started seeing people. But like it just happened and I liked him. So I was like, I went with it. And once I kind of went through that period of mourning, like I started dating again, and it it has like its ups and its downs. Like I definitely love parts of being single. So one of the biggest things for me once me and my serious ex broke up was I want to travel. Um, so because we never traveled, we never really did anything like that. So I gave myself a goal, which this year was totally screwed over with Corona, but of like 5 new places every single year. So traveling and being single is so much fun. So much fun. Like I went to Seattle. I like met someone in Seattle. We had like a lot of fun. We like talked for a while. I went to Atlanta and it was crazy. It was so much fun. Like that was the first time I ever like kissed a random stranger. And it was like on the dance floor at this club. Super cute. Like Hispanic guy from like Texas. And I was like, this is great. Like it's a cute like I'm glad like I got to experience that. And it's fun, like going to bars, like hanging out, like talking to people. Like I love that part. Like it's so much fun. But then I am also the type of person that like I don't like superficial. Like I don't like it. I don't like to fuck with it. Like, and that part is hard because it starts to get boring. Like, and talking to like a lot of people starts to get boring to me because I'm like, how many times can I tell like 5 different people how my day is going? Like, like I just don't like it. Like for me, like once I like someone, I like to like give them my attention, like learn about them, like have more in-depth conversations. And for me, it's hard to do that if you're like splitting up your time amongst people. So like it has its ups and its downs, and I go through like these periods of like I really like being single, but at the same time knowing that like I'm missing that more like personal deep attachment with someone.
I feel that. My daughter's father and I broke up 6 months ago, and we're now pregnant, and I'm 6 months pregnant. So we broke up, and we found out. Thank you. We found out we were pregnant right around the time that we broke up. So it's been, and we live together. So it's been really weird. Obviously, I can't date. I can't really do anything, and not that I want to either, because like I've always said, if I have a daughter, which I do, if I have a daughter, I don't plan. My mom, she was a single mom for a while. Like she got divorced when I was 5 or 6, and she never brought men to the house. Like it was me and my sister. She would date outside of the house, but she never brought men to the house. She got married after I moved out, and I moved out when I was like 21. My sister was like, maybe her senior year. I was like, we were already older when she started actually dating. So I always knew, because of all my past history with like sexual trauma and all that, I knew that I would never bring, if he and I didn't work out, that's it. Like I'm not going to be dating around. I'm not going to do that. Or like at least bring him to my house. So right now I'm in the process of moving from here in Boston to Florida. And my sister has asked me, she's like, oh, like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to see people? My mom has asked me too. She's like, are you going to start dating? I was like, no. Like, why? No, I'm probably going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't say no. Cause like I could be going to the grocery store and meet the love of my life, and my life changes forever. But like my intentions aren't to date at the moment. I really just want to focus on myself, my podcast, my game. I have a game. It's not public yet, but I worked on this board game, so I'm working on that. I'm working just like on myself and all my stuff so that I can get my life together for my kids, and then I'm gonna start thinking about having fun. I do definitely like. I love sex, so I know at some point I'm gonna have to. I want to find. So I don't want to. I don't have to, but I want to find someone that I can consistently have sex with, because I don't like. I don't like having random sex, especially just being older. I stopped having random sex when I was like 23, 24. Like in that random sex, I would have my like consistent fuck buddies, but like it was every few months I'd be like, all right, I'm good. Like I'm going to start catching feelings for you because you're starting to hit me up way too much and we hang out way too much. And I don't like that. If we're not going to be together, then there's no point of us still doing this. So then I stopped doing that once I got with my daughter's father. He and I, we waited about a month or so, maybe more than that, to have sex. And then, but I had dated him when I was 14. So it was like fast forward to when we were older. So it was pretty quick. And then we got pregnant 3 months later. And then we've been together ever since. So I haven't had a new partner in like 5 years pretty much, or 4.5 years or something, which is fine. I'm not complaining by any means. I don't want to have all these new partners, especially as an adult. It just feels weird. Like
it loses its appeal. Like I think that like when you're younger, it's like as you get older, like for me, and like that's something I was like thinking about, and like I expressed to someone, I'm like, I honestly, I don't want to hook up with someone unless like I'm starting to be in a relationship with them, because like the more I think about it, and everyone's completely different. There are some people that are totally fine with just like hooking up, like you do you, that's totally great. But like for me, like I was thinking about it and I heard someone explain it, and I was like, that makes sense for me. Like you're letting someone into your body, like, and you're in a way like feeding off of that energy. So it's like I want to get to know you, like I want to see if you have good energy and if we vibe in that way. And I think that also like the times that I have hooked up with someone and it's just like random, it's never that good. Like it takes some time to learn someone's body and it takes some time to like learn what this person likes and to get them to learn what you like. So if I'm going around like for me personally, again, like if I hook up with someone, it's not that great. I hook up with another person, it's not that great. Like I'd rather have one person that like I can hook up with if we're like dating, if we're not dating. Like I've never had like a consistent like hookup buddy. Like it's never like gotten like to that point because I also know myself and I know I catch feelings. And for me, I'm like I can't like mix the two. And I had someone that like just wanted to be like friends with benefit, but then would be like upset if he found out I was going on a date. I'm like, bro, like you can't blur the lines. We're either one thing or we're trying to be another thing. Like I'm not gonna walk between both of them. So for me, I'm just kind of like at the point where I'm like, I'm gonna hold off. I was like, and I want to like get to know someone to actually have it like one be good and like two like in a way like mean something, you know?
I feel that I, for the longest, was just, I don't know. I'm very, now I feel the same way that you feel, but just growing up, it took a while for me to even get there. Like getting with my daughter's father, it took for me to get with him and be in a serious relationship. Prior to that, I was very like, I did not catch feelings. I was very opposite. So I was definitely like, if somebody would start catching feelings, I'd be like, all right, well, obviously we can't do this anymore because I don't want to catch feelings for you. And then if you start doing boyfriend stuff, I'm going to. But like, if we just keep hooking up and it's just that, then that's it. So I've had to, on multiple occasions, cut people off because it was like, you like me, but it's like, I don't trust you. And I don't trust you because we do this. And I don't know if you've been doing this with other people. And like, I'm sure people are probably like, then why were you having sex with them to begin with? Because that doesn't make any sense. But it was more, I thought we're having sex with condoms, so it doesn't matter. Like, but if we start talking, like you're probably doing the same thing with condoms with other girls. Like I just did not, I've always had really bad trust issues just because I've been a side bitch before because my self-esteem was really low. Even though I was really confident, I've always been very confident, but I had a very low self-esteem and thought I was worth being someone's secret as opposed to being their main. So ever since I did that, when I did that, I knew that that fucked me up forever. I always thought guys cannot be faithful. Like it was a guy that had a whole, like, I think he must have been with her for like 5 years, and he would in front of me answer the phone and like would be touching me and hugging me and kissing me, and it was, and I'm not like proud of it. I actually made a video about it, and I had to reach out to him and be like, hey, I'm making a video about being a side bitch, and just so you know, like, I'm going to talk about you. I'm not going to say your name, but I'm going to talk about you. So, but ever since then, that fucked me up. And I was like, that my karma is going to be someone doing that to me. And then my daughter's father, he's always said, karma isn't real and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you say that because you're the one that's going to be doing it. Like, you don't want me to believe that because you're the one that, so I've always just had these like really bad trust issues because of that. And now I don't know because I haven't dated as an adult. I started dating him. I mean, I was an adult when I started dating my daughter's father, but I was a young adult. Now I'm almost 30. It's so different. And the feeling, I feel like, is just different. And I don't know how I'm even going to react. I have guys that still talk to me now and they know I'm pregnant. And I'm like, this is very weird. The fact that you think it's okay to like entertain conversations with me and entertain me, which is, I mean, it's nice for me because you're entertaining me, but it's like, why are you doing that? Like, I am 6 months pregnant. I have, my profile picture is my big ass belly. Like, I don't get it. I do not get it. But yeah, men are weird, so are women. But
it's definitely, I totally get what you're saying. Like, and I think for me, that's one of the hardest things about dating is you never know someone else's intentions. like, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to translate into like English, but there's like a saying in Spanish, like, caras vemos, corazones no sabemos.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, you have it?
I have heard that before.
Yeah, like it means like you could see someone's face, but like you're never going to know their heart. And like that is one of like the suckiest parts about like dating, because it's like you could tell me you're not seeing anyone, like, and I like, for me, that's like when you're in the in between, right? You guys are talking, but like it hasn't been like official, and then they drop the like, I'm not talking to anyone else, but like you, like, I don't care if you do. Like for me, it's always like do I trust you to like actually be like, I believe that he's not talking to anyone else, and like that is so hard for me, because I fully believe that like we are products of things that have happened to us, right? Like no one is the way they are out of the blue. Like no one is born with trust issues. Like we get them because people fuck with us and we've seen things. So like for me, I never really had trust issues until my relationship with like my ex boyfriend like ended, because he like, and I also think it depends, like people have different views on like what cheating is, but I like found out that he was talking to someone on like a webcam and like sexting with them. And for me, like that was cheating. Like
That is
I saw
cheating.
it, like I saw the conversation, you called that person babe, like that's cheating. And like after that, I was like, I never had these trust issues, and now these trust issues are there. And you know, like I have to work on myself, and like, is every guy the same? No, but like you're never gonna know, like 1000%, like be fully certain, like you're never gonna know. So like taking that chance on someone like is one of the scariest parts about dating. Like
I
I
agree.
can trust you, like I can like choose to believe you, but like in the back of my mind, because now I have this insecurity, I'm always gonna have that inkling of like, is he though? Like, is he telling me the truth? So no, like I totally feel you on that. It's so hard to like trust people once you've seen how other people behave.
Mhm. That
Wow.
is, it is rough. It's tough to date. It is tough to get to know someone new and be able to be like, is he good? Is he telling the truth? Are his intentions pure? So it is, and it's not even just plus size women. It is every woman that has to deal with this, because I've seen women of all shapes, sizes, colors get cheated on and get treated like shit by these men that supposedly love them, that supposedly all these things. And it's like, it sucks. So seeing other people go through these horrible experiences, I'm like, I don't know if I have it in me to be able to trust someone and get my heart broken and all of that. Like my daughter's father didn't break my heart. Um, he he just was not, he's an amazing friend. I always say this, and I say this because I found out he was talking to his ex again. Not like that, but like he was just talking to her friendly and stuff. And she had just had a kid and they were talking. And I reached out to her because I was being a jealous girlfriend. And she told me it was nothing serious. And then we started having a conversation about their relationship. And she was like, he is a great friend, but he is not a good partner. So yeah, we are still we talk periodically, but it'll never be anything more than just a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
That moment, I came to the realization that he is literally not a good partner. He is just a good friend and a great dad. So when I came to that realization and we broke up mutually. I had found out all of that, and I was like, I can't be with you because he doesn't think that emotional cheating is a real thing, and doesn't think that talking to multiple women and entertaining a ton of women at work, on social media, all these things, he thinks it's okay. And I was like, if you would have told me when we got together that you couldn't be monogamous, I would have been like, cool, let's be in an open relationship, but at least we went into it with everything on the table, and the trust will still be there, because I'll know that if you are talking to someone, it's because the rules were set out at the beginning, and I would have been able to do the same thing. But then me finding out that you're doing this, it's like you're betraying me. You're betraying the trust that I gave you in not going through your phone and not doing these things. But the first time I look at your phone, if I see nothing but messages with women, it's like, he's like, but I've never cheated on you. I've never met with anyone. He's like, you know exactly where I am every single day, day in, day out. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. The fact that you are telling this woman throughout the day that how your day is going verbatim, and like all these things like about your life, it's frustrating to me, and it's a slap in my face, because it's like, we went years being good, and then you stopped really talking to me during the day because you were actually talking to someone else. Yeah. So once I really came to that whole realization, I was just like, I'm good. And like, I thought the breakup was going to hit me way worse than it did. And for a while, I just kept saying, like, are we going to get back together? Are we going to get back together? And I really wanted to know if we would get back together. And as the time just kept going, I was just like, I don't want to be with you. So I don't know why I keep asking that damn question to him when I see the things I don't like about you. And you no longer make me happy like that. You make me happy because he's the one that pushed me to do this podcast. He's the one that supports me in every venture that I've gone onto. He's very supportive, and he's very, like I said, he's a great friend. He's a great friend. So I don't think that I lost someone. I think that I gained a friend while losing a partner. So I don't want to experience the loss of anyone else. And if I could be with someone else and like all of that, I don't think that'll happen. But if I could, I don't know how I would take a breakup. Maybe I'd be strong because I feel like I'm a strong girl, but I don't know. And I don't think I want to know. I don't think I want to feel it.
Go through it. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely something it was one of the hardest things. And for me, it's super interesting because my breakup with my long-term boyfriend hit me less than like the breakup I had with the person that I saw for 3 months.
Well, it's funny because when you were telling the story, it sounded that way. It sounded like you were like, okay, well, bye. And then you moved on. And then that next boyfriend, you were like, you took it very hard.
That one fucked me up. Like, and I also think it's because, you know, in my long-term relationship, we'd already been struggling. Like, I think I had already like mentally like checked out way before it ended. So it's like, sure, our relationship ended in April, but like we were done months before, and I had this time, you know, to like process it. And for like a week, 2 weeks, I was like, we're gonna get back together. Like it's fine, we're gonna get back together, because at that point, like, I wasn't mourning the loss of him, I was just mourning the loss of the relationship. And once I started seeing this new person, like, I fell hard, like instantly hard. Like, like still to this day, like I remember like the first time he kissed me, and I remember having to like literally catch my breath. And once that ended, like I was every single day for like 3 months I cried.
Oh no.
It was horrible. My mom was just like, I really think you need to go back to therapy, like all this stuff. And like I think about like the idea of what it would be like to like rekindle that. And I remember telling one of my friends, I was like, I can't go through that again. So it's like, if anything were like to ever, like if any part of me wanted to revisit that, like I know I need to be in like such a different mental like headspace, because that was like one of the worst things I've ever been through. And that's also scary, like thinking about it, and like no one wants to start over. And I saw that somewhere, and I was like, that's so true. Like no one wants to start over. Like I don't want to have to like let someone in and get vulnerable with them and bring them into my life, have them around my friends, be around their friends, and like 3 months we're done. have to grieve it and then restart it all over again. And it's definitely like one of those things though that like I think about and I'm like, I hope that because I do want to be in a relationship and eventually I do want to be married and I'm like, I know that in the end it's gonna be worth it, but like it's hard to like constantly like be putting yourself out there and like putting yourself out there and not having it like work out over and over and over again. And like I have this thing that I say to my sister, I'm like, I wish I could just know. Like if I can know who I'm supposed to be with. Like I don't have to meet them now, but like just get like a glimpse of their face. That way like my anxiety would calm down and I would be like, okay, like it's not gonna work out with other people because like this is supposed to be the person. But like that's fantasy, you know? Like we can't have that. And I think that it sometimes takes the idea of you really have to believe that like it's going to be worth it in the end to put yourself through like those moments of heartbreak.
I feel that. I love relationships. I love being in a relationship. That is the best feeling, knowing that you have this person that you're going to come home to and you can tell them just about anything and they're the person you rant to and vent to about your family, your friends, everything. And then not having that anymore. It's like, damn, I'm alone again. And I'm forced to talk to my friends, which is fine, but it's like, it's a different type of love. Relationships are just like a different type of feeling that it's so unexplainable.
It is. And I think that was one of the hardest things of not being in a relationship for me because we had a lot of family situationships that were really, really hard. And my ex fiance, like, he wasn't always the best in our relationship, but my God, did that man show up. Like, he was there for my family. Like, he was there for my sister in ways like I will never honestly be able to repay him. And I remember like once we broke up, like something happened again. And like my thought was just like, shit, like I have to go through this alone now. Like I don't have someone that's gonna like tell me it's gonna be okay. And like I don't have someone that's gonna like give me like a really big bear hug and like say we'll get through this. And like that was hard to process. And I think that, you know, like it definitely made me stronger because I had to face things on my own. But it also at the same time made me realize that like I do want to be in a relationship. And I think that people tie such a negative stigma to that. And like I had someone like who I thought was like a really good friend be like, you just want to be in a relationship because like you're unhappy with your life and you're unhappy with like who you
That's
are.
rude.
And I was like, yeah, it was so rude. I was like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, like has nothing to do with that. And I think that it's okay to like crave something like deeper. Obviously, you know, like I think it's unhealthy to go from relationship to relationship to relationship without being able to process things on your own. But once you go through that and you're able to be your own person, and if you still have this desire to be in a relationship and to have a loving partner, like there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that, you know, like single people that feel that way sometimes get like kind of like shamed. And like people think that like you're unhappy, you like are jealous of other people. And it's just like, no, that's not it at all. It's just like I have that longing and like I can't wait to be someone's wife.
I've always wanted to be a wife, and I just never thought it would happen to me. And I still, at this point, like now about to have another daughter, I don't think that that's something that's going to be in my near future at all. Like, I don't know, but I don't think so. And it's super disappointing and disheartening, and it sucks because I love love and I love the feeling of love. And I wanted nothing but to be able to be someone's wife and take care of the house and of course be still a businesswoman and an entrepreneur and all that stuff, but still be able to take care of someone else, not just my kids. And I really thought that it was going to be my daughter's father. But then like after I got to know him a little bit better, so you don't really know someone fully until the years start passing, because the first 2 years I feel like are still like the first year honeymoon period. The second year you're still kind of still in love. Then after the third year, it's like you really start to see those little things coming out, and then after that it's like a wrap. It's either make it or break it after the fourth year. It's like, can you put up with this person and all that they can bring to the table and stuff. So
Yeah, I think for me, like one of the biggest things is like now that I'm dating, the biggest thing I look for and like the thing that's like the most attractive thing to me is effort. Like if you're gonna put in effort, like because I've always said this, like I'm an all in type of person. Like once I like you, once like I want to talk to you all the time, I want to know like how your day's going, like I want to show up if you like need me. And I realized like through this year of dating that I do that, and like I do that with everyone I start to like. And not everyone deserves that. And like that's something that like I was telling Lola, like the girl I have like the podcast with, I'm like, I think I need to be a little bit more selective about who I'm investing that energy into. Because if you're not going to meet me with the same effort that I'm putting into this, like to me, like that's what's actually going to equate love. Like the romance and like the honeymoon phase and all those like chemicals releasing like dopamine into our brain, like they're gonna fade away. Like that's not gonna be there forever. What is gonna be there forever is like the effort that we put into each other, like, and that is what's gonna make like your love actually last. So it's like, so if the effort is not even there when we're dating and like we're still like in this honeymoon phase, it is for sure not gonna be there like 20 years down the line. And I'm not like out here to like be like again like starting over and over and over and over and over every single time.
I feel that I can't do that. I don't know. uh, I try to stay hopeful in the thoughts that, I don't know, that one day I'll find love, because
Yeah.
like I said, I love love, but I can't even imagine it at the moment. And it's so sad to say, like, if I mean, I'm for the most part a pretty happy person. I went through my depressive state like a couple of months ago, or yeah. Um, but it wasn't because of that. It was just because of my whole life. Um, but that's probably the only thing in my life that makes me actually genuinely sad, is to know that I'm not going to have that. And I'm going to have to see my friends getting married and my friends having that, the life, not the life that I wish that I had, because I think I have a great life. It's just that I'm missing, is that
Yeah.
partner. So, yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay. Shit happens.
It does. But like I think that anything that you want, like I don't like the idea of people saying like, oh, like not everyone is meant to have love. Because like I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that like good people end up with good people. And I just think that sometimes like what I'm struggling with is the timing of it. Like I'm a religious person, like I believe in God, like I'm a Christian, and like it's so hard for me to like be like trust God's timing. Like that's one of the hardest things like people can say to me because I'm so impatient. Like I'm an Aries, like and I fit that so like through and through. Like I don't have patience.
When's your
So
birthday?
April 17th.
My daughter's April 14th.
Oh, so cute. But so for me, like that's one of the hardest things. It's like having patience and like trusting in timing because like I want it now, you know? And it might be that like I won't be ready for it until I'm 32. And like the idea of being 30 and single is absolutely terrifying. But like I try to calm myself down and be like, would you have rather, like looking back and like knowing that my relationship was not the right relationship to be in, and knowing that we were engaged and we are eventually going to be married, like thinking back to, I'm like, I will rather wait. Like if I have to be single for like another 5 years, another like 6 years, but it means I find the right person, I would rather wait than like the first person who I thought I loved and we end up getting divorced. And like, or maybe we don't even end up getting divorced because he didn't believe in a divorce. Like maybe we just end up unhappy and like we resent each other for the rest of our lives. So like it's so hard. Like I get it. Like it's so hard. But I think that, you know, like once you set your heart to wanting something that is so pure and so beautiful, like I totally think that, you know, like you're gonna get that. Like I fully believe that like good people end up with good people. Just you gotta find them.
I know, and you have to have faith that they'll come.
Yeah, that's the hard part is finding them.
Ooh, I lost you.
Oh, did you get me?
Oh no. Okay, for a second, like you said something and I couldn't hear you, so I thought I lost the connection. But no, yeah, I agree. Oh, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will find
Yeah,
loves of our lives one day soon.
definitely, definitely.
Right. So, on that note, let's move on to my second segment, which is the weekly shenanigans. And this is where we discuss bullshit that we've seen on social media this week. It could be a story that you've seen or you heard. It can be an amazing meme, picture, or video. And yeah, for me, it was, I don't know if you have the Shade Room on your Instagram.
Do not. What is that?
So the Shade Room is just like a gossip site, a gossip page. And do you know who Chanel West Coast is from
Yes, I do.
Ridiculousness?
Yeah,
So she did a video where she talks about her quote unquote friends slash acquaintances not supporting her. This dance that she tried to come up with, like, you know, those viral TikTok dances that are coming out. She
yeah,
made one and it literally looks like all the other ones, just like she added a few things. But she proceeded to say that she's going to make it one day and all these things, and just coming at all these people. But she does it all the time where she just like makes it seem like she's bigger than what she is. And I thought it was like very funny to watch this video because she looks so mad. And at the same time, she, like in every video that she does, she looks so mad. And I just feel like she's always wanting attention and she acts up because she wants this attention.
yeah,
And I thought it was a load of bullshit. I was just like, girl, people are going to support you if they want to support you. You can't force them to support you or make a video and guilt them into supporting you or make them feel
yeah,
bad to support you. You just do what you are doing and it'll genuinely come to you. And if it doesn't come to you, then it wasn't meant for you. It is not, it's not that poppin'. And you just got to
yeah.
wait till it is your turn to be there. And yeah, that was my shenanigans of the week. What about you?
So like the thing that I was thinking of, like tying it back to like being like plus size and like being bigger, like the idea that people are using quarantine to lose weight. Like there's so many memes around it and like so many things. And I saw one that like totally pissed me off. It was just um like before like people were complaining that they didn't have time, but like quarantine is showing that like what they lacked was discipline. And I was like so triggered. Like I got so mad. You're feeding us this idea that we're supposed to use like a global pandemic to lose weight. And I'm like, what load of bullshit is that? Like, there's so many other things that are going on. Like, my life has like, I'm definitely trying to like stay healthy and like just get on a routine so that like I'm not overeating at home, like not just like out of boredom. But like the idea that like everyone's gonna come out like 15 pounds like lighter and they're on like this super good like workout routine. It's just like there's so many other emotions that are going on that like to expect people to be like all about weight loss right now to me is like mind boggling. Like, you know.
I agree. I mean, besides the fact that I'm pregnant, I've been eating kind of fine, but not for a single second did I say I'm going to go on a diet. I just got out of this like not phase, this part of my pregnancy that I didn't experience before where I was just throwing up everything I was eating. So that sucked. So I lost some weight, but it was because of that. It wasn't necessarily because I was like, let me get on this diet. and I can't eat that much. And it's, again, because of what was happening in my stomach. I've just had like this weird stomach bug where I'm just not able to keep down food, like if I eat too much. So like, but it was very unintentional. Like, I didn't sit here and say I was going to try and do this, but I've been eating very little. So like breakfast, I'll have like 2 mini bagels and then I'm full. Where normally I'd be eating 4 mini bagels and I'd be maybe wanting another one. So yeah, no, I feel that it's not the time. It is time to just get your mental right, because a lot of people right now are just going through a lot while being at home, whether it be not being able to pay your bills, not be all the stress that losing weight shouldn't be added on to that. If anything, you should just be trying to get cuddly and hang out and just like relax and get your mental right, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. For me, like the thing that like I am doing, so like I know that my body works best when I like am on kind of more of a like a time, like if I follow just like a routine of like when I eat, and being at work sometimes like that routine gets like thrown off because like I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So like I was like, if anything, like that's what I'm going to use this for, just to get myself back on the routine I like already had going for like a year and like feel better about myself, but like not to be like, I'm going to hit like these, you can't even go to the gym. Like you can't do anything. So it's like, how am I supposed to, you know, come out super, super toned for a summer body when we might not even have a summer? Like, I don't get it.
A summer body for your house, your living room, and your bedroom, because that's the only place where people should be so that they won't get sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So then let's move right on into the weekly check-in. And this is where we talk about a current topic that we're catching up on. It could be on TV, or a show, it could be a movie, it could be on social media, the news, magazine, that you thought was worth talking about. So did you see anything this week that was like worth talking about?
I have been, so like I binge watch, I don't know if you have Netflix, but I binge watched the show, like, what's it called? Like Too Hot or something?
I saw it.
Did you? Okay.
Yes.
So like I binge watched that, and then I had like so many mixed feelings about it. Like the concept was so wild to me. Like I love dating shows like so much. I watched like Love is Blind, like loved it. And then I read this article on Refinery 29 about how single people are used as entertainment. And I was like, what? Like I never, like my mind was blown. I'm like, that's so true. And then like this, the person that wrote it was just like, I shouldn't be like made to look like entertainment, but like we always do it. And I was like feeling bad. I'm like, should I not watch these shows? Like, like how do I feel? But I just think that like the idea of reality dating shows are so wild, but like at the same time, I'm so intrigued, and like part of me wants to go on one.
For the longest time. So did you ever watch the Bad Girls Club?
I did. You wanted to be on that?
So I ended up auditioning, and they sent me to California and the whole nine, and I was going to be on there, but I didn't make it towards, it was like the last audition, I'm pretty sure, the one when I went over there. I did the on-screen audition and everything looked like I was going to be on there. And then a month, like, they sent me back, and then a month went by, another month went by, another month.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to be on. And then after that, I was like, I'm not going to apply again, because like, I don't want to seem like I'm extremely thirsty. They already know what I'm about. I've already obviously told them everything about me, so they know, and they could have made the decision then, and they didn't. So there was that, but I was going to be on there. Then there was another, The Real World. I was going to be on there too. But
oh my God, I love The Real World. I think that's what started like my love for like reality TV. I used to watch every single season, and then I watched like all the challenge seasons. Loved it. Love it. I still do. I'm like, I still love the challenge. Like I have my favorites. I'm like, I love it.
yeah, no, now obviously I wouldn't do it, because I feel like my time has passed. It's just something that you do when you're like much younger. But I definitely love reality TV. I love watching reality TV too.
Yeah. What do you think of that like Too Hot show?
I thought it was crazy. Harry and Francesca. Oh my goodness, they kill me. They are so funny.
They're still together.
I heard.
TikTok.
It's funny. They were supposedly going to get married. He like proposed to her on live or something like that, and then like took it back. And I just heard this whole story that like it didn't work. Like they're still together, but they never got married, and she feels bamboozled and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's interesting. But you know who I liked? The accountant.
Which one was that? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the one that was like getting mad every single time people lost money.
Oh yeah, I loved him. I thought he was so attractive and he had a really nice body and smile. I hated his personality though. I really didn't like how he was such a dick, and he's I can get whatever girl I want and blah 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 blah, and I'm so hot. And I was like, okay, relax, buddy. Like you're good looking, but when you have that type of personality, your looks go out the window, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, the guy that I thought was the most attractive was the one that looked like Jesus.
He was cute. He was so nice. He had such a good personality.
Like he was definitely my favorite. I was like sad when he left, but
right. Yeah. Too hot. That was funny. I just finished it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But my weekly check-in this week is I saw on Twitter that, did you see the pictures of Adele that came out?
That she lost weight.
That she lost so much weight, and like it's just like this big topic of discussion for everyone. So Miss Sharron Osborn went on the talk, and I don't know if you've heard the story, but she came out and she said that she looks absolutely fantastic and that she doesn't believe that real big women are really happy in their bodies. She went on to say that because she was really, really big at one point and wasn't happy, she knows. And that on the surface, she might have looked happy, but at night in bed alone, she was very unhappy. And my thoughts are simple on that. Just because you feel a certain way about your body and you didn't like your body and you were unhappy doesn't mean that every other plus size woman or man feels the same way you did. And the fact that you went on TV and then try to tell the world that this person was probably unhappy with their body, which I'm sure she was. That's why she was in the process of losing weight. But still, it just like the way that she generalized that and it made it seem like everyone feels that way, I just thought was fucked up, because I'm like, I have struggled with my weight for a while, but I've never been unhappy because of the weight. I've been unhappy for other reasons associated around it, but the weight itself didn't make me sad or like none of that. It was just all these other things that came along with it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a person to person thing. And like I've been on like the opposite side of it where like I have felt bad because of my weight. And I had a friend who was actually bigger than me, but like she was always like, it was the opposite. Like she made me feel bad because I feel bad. Because she's like, everyone should feel like me. Like everyone should be like so accepting of their bodies. And like she like loved it and like good for her. Like that's awesome. But like at the same time, don't tell someone else how they feel. Don't tell someone else how to feel. Like I'm super happy for you that you love your body. You should. And that's fantastic. I love my body. Like I love what it does for me, but like I also know that like internally, like I would like to be smaller. Like and like there's no shame in it. And like that's one of the issues I have with like the body positivity movement. It's like you get shit on if you don't like agree in the body positivity movement with like the whole like love your body as it is thing, and then you get like shit on if you like it's weird. It's like a weird in between. Like you're supposed to love your body as it is and like never want to change anything about it. And if you do, then like you don't have real body positivity. It's such a like black and white like thing to like talk about, and when in reality, like everything's gray. Like everything has a gray area, and like, you can feel one way, someone else can feel another way. Like I think she looks really good, and like I can imagine it's probably really hard to be in the public eye when, especially her, because she was always like, because there's so little like plus size representation, like people like idolized her for that. So I can't even begin to imagine like how much hate people are giving her, like now that she lost the weight. So it's like you're never gonna please people. People were calling her fat, saying she has to lose the weight. And now that she has lost the weight, people are probably like, well, that's such a double standard. Like you were supposed to be an icon. So it's like no one's ever gonna be happy. Like just let people live their lives.
Yeah, you can't please everyone, so you just have to please yourself at the end of the day. Yeah. So those were our check-ins of the week. So we can get right to our last segment, which is the listener Q&A. And I don't have any this week. So do you have a story or a question that you might want me to answer or any of that good stuff?
I want to know what like intrigued you to like start your podcast. Like what like ideas you had like bouncing in your head that you're like, I want this to like come to life.
So I get this question. I've done so many interviews this week, and all of them, maybe like of like 8, I've had maybe 4 people ask me that question. And it is literally, I just wanted to reach a larger audience. I wanted to get to know people. I wanted to give people a voice and myself. I wanted to talk about things that other people can relate to. And I wanted to touch on things that were like really tough to talk about, where people might feel uncomfortable talking about it, but giving them a platform where we have this open conversation, this open dialogue. And I wanted just to be able to talk about it and let everybody know that you're not alone, and that you might feel this way and you might think this or you might think that, but this is how 2 women feel, or a woman and a man feels, or whatever the topic might be. And I just was really excited. I started doing YouTube videos first, and I would tell story times and stuff like that. But I was like, this isn't enough. Like, I can't do this. I didn't want to do the editing anymore. I was like, this is annoying. And then when I realized like podcasting might be the way to go, I mentioned it to my daughter's father, and then he was like, when are you going to do it? I was like, I don't know. And then he bought me the equipment, and then, and then it wasn't because it was when I posted the thing on Facebook, it was because of him. He was like, so when are you going to start interviewing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm moving. So he's like, you're always going to have an excuse. Just do it. And then he gave me the idea, just post all your ideas and all this stuff on Facebook and see who responds. And then I had a really good response from all these people, and I was so happy. So then I just started doing it, and then I was like, all right, it's time. Like, it's time. And now is my time. And that's why I'm just conducting all these like interviews and all these things, because I'm a huge procrastinator, and I didn't want to get to the point where at any point I just got lazy and I didn't want to interview anymore and whatever. So I just came up with the idea of just doing a bunch of interviews, edit for a while, and then I'll have enough like shows out or episodes out to put out every week until I decide to start interviewing again and all that. So it was, just reaching a larger audience, and that was my biggest thing.
I love that. I think that's such a good like idea in itself, that like I feel like, especially with something like this, like every single time something is like creative or anything like that, like you never feel ready. And I think that sometimes we give ourselves like excuse after excuse to like not want to do it and like postpone it. So like I love that you're just like, all right, like let's just go like fall in. And like I messaged you, I'm like, girl, your hustle of like these interviews, like I love that. Like I'm so here for it.
Yes, thank you. And again, thank you so much for saying and then being interested in being on. I was like, everybody that's been on so far, like I can't tell them enough how thankful I am, because it's like y'all didn't have to do this. You guys could have been anywhere else, and you decided to sit here with me for an hour and a half and talk to me about like this and talk and just talk to me, period. It was just, it makes me so grateful and appreciative of everyone that's been on. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're so welcome. Like I'm so thankful that you asked me to be on it. I was like, I love it. I love our topic. I was like, any single time to talk about it. And like, I just love that we were so conversational, you know, and like, it felt like I talked to you forever. Like I didn't think I had like any restrictions, and like, it was just such a good vibe. And I was like, I love it. I'm so thankful, and I can't wait to like hear it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And then to everyone else, please send me your questions, stories, whatever you want to send me to my email. It's deb.talkk@gmail.com. Again, that's deb.talk with an extra K at the end @gmail.com. And I will read it out loud here on the podcast. So yes, can you please remind everyone where they can find you, your podcast, all that good stuff before we get on out of here?
Sure. So my podcast is called the Thinking Thick Podcast, and I am a co-host. So that's Instagram @ThinkingThick. And then my Instagram is AMA_DE_new. So like Ama be new, like a play on my name. But yeah, give me a follow and tune into our podcast. And you should come on. Like, we need to plan this. I'm excited.
Let me know. I am down. So whenever, just let's schedule it. It can't be from Monday to, well, can't be from after this till next Friday, because like I said, I'm driving from Boston to Florida. But other than that, and then the following week I have like interviews back to back. But if you schedule it like that following weekend, that's fine. And then after that, I'm good to go. So whenever you need me,
for sure,
I'll be there.
We will make it work.
Yes.
Thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. And everyone else, please remember to subscribe, comment, rate us on iTunes, everywhere else you listen to, or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. Thank you for joining me on this amazing podcasting journey. And yeah, we started this podcast asking, how has it been dating as a plus-size woman? And as you can see, it hasn't all been smooth. Just like anybody, it can be hard. Guys are trash to small, big, tall, short, red, brown, black women. That being said, ladies, there is someone out there for everyone. So don't let your weight discourage you from finding love. Be confident, be yourself, and you'll be just fine. Like always, keep an open mind and an open heart. Until next time, toodles!